The Punisher Season 1, I just finished binge watching the first season of The Punisher. And let me tell you something, I was not a fan of neither of the Punisher films. Not the one with Dolph Lundgren, the first one from '89, not the Tom and Jane one from 2004, and not even Warzone, which I did not even think I finished that film, because that movie was garbage. And I am a fan of the Punisher character, and it's honestly very sad that until I saw him in Daredevil season 2, that they haven't made a great cinematic or even television incarnation of the Punisher in live action. So I'm just like, when are we gonna get the actually good incarnation of the Punisher? And thank goodness we finally have it. However, the show is not perfect. I do have problems with the show, and I do have some nitpicks with the show, which some of the things in the show that I wasn't really into all that much. But it doesn't take away the fact that I do think the show is actually pretty good. It's not amazing, it's not great like Daredevil, but it is pretty good. John Berthold definitely delivered a great performance in season 2 of Daredevil as a Punisher. His introduction made me go, I want to see his Punisher show. I definitely want to see his Punisher show where he goes all out. We see what he does best, beating the crap out of people, killing people, the brutality of the Punisher and his brutal and violent nature. I want to see that in his show. And thank goodness we get to see all that goodness that the Punisher does. And it is great and glorious. And it's definitely great to see a actual good incarnation of the Punisher. Because like I said, the previous incarnations were good. They were not even like were close to being good. But good thing that we actually get a good incarnation of the Punisher. But not unfortunately a great one, but a good one. I also love the fact that John Berthold didn't just play a comic book character, an anti-hero, because that's what the Punisher is. He plays a broken and damaged and hurt man who just doesn't want to be associated with anybody. He wants to be isolated from a lot of people because of his past and his trauma. Because you guys know in order to the Punisher where his wife and kids died. He wants to get revenge, and his way of serving justice is to kill people. And his performance in this movie reminds me a lot of Logan, because in Logan, Hugh Jackman doesn't just play Wolverine. He plays a damaged and violent person, this violent man who is hurt inside, who doesn't want to be associated with a lot of people, and he wants to be isolated from a lot of people. And it definitely have a connection with this film because I do think that the Punisher and Wolverine are two characters that I think are truly great, and their incarnations with Wolverine for this and the Punisher for this definitely shows that these characters aren't just comic book characters, but they're actual can be real people. This show doesn't hold back when it comes to the action and the brutality with the Punisher, because not only does the Punisher beat the crap out of you, he kills you, he stabs you, he shoots you, he breaks your arms, breaks your leg, he punches you in the face endlessly until like your face is all cracked up and bloody and grotesque, and make sure that you're dead on the ground and you're not getting up and you don't even beat a heart. That's what I love about the Punisher, is that he is a character that he doesn't hold back when it comes to violence, just like Wolverine, which I love me some brutal comic book characters as well. I just don't like the light-hearted character like Spider-Man or Thor or whoever else, or the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love me some brutal characters like Batman, the Punisher, Daredevil, and Wolverine. Those characters, they don't hold back when it comes to violence and action. And for a character who prefers to be alone, I love the Punisher interaction between him and Lieberman, this guy who has been in this warehouse, this underground place or whatever, to protect his family because he has been faking his death for a whole year now. And I love his connection with the Punisher, and their chemistry is very great, and the writing in the show is, I will gotta say, the writing is pretty good, even though that certain episodes do drag, and it does feel boring and sluggish at certain points. But it doesn't take away the fact that I do enjoy watching the show and see what happens next, because the show does keep my interest in when each episode ends, and that's what I like about shows, especially Netflix shows where you just watch each episode right away. You don't have to wait for like another week or whatever for the next episode. Because it definitely keeps you interested. It definitely keeps you on, like, oh yeah, I can't wait to watch the next episode, which was going to start in a few seconds. And Netflix and Marvel, again, they're doing a great job with that. And I'm just going to say this right now, the final action scene in the season finale, oh my goodness, that is amazing. That was awesome. That was just brutal and violent and gory and bloody, and they didn't hold back when it comes to that final action scene in the season finale, which I enjoyed a lot. And with that, and you could definitely tell that the Punisher is a character that is not PG-13. What I appreciate about the previous incarnation of the Punisher, I'm not remembering the Dolph Lundgren one with PG-13 or rated R or not, but I just love that the other three incarnations weren't PG-13. I loved the fact that they were rated R, that they had a lot of swearing, a lot of violence, a lot of shooting, and it definitely got the spirit of the Punisher right. But my problem with those three movies is that the writing was poor, the acting wasn't the greatest, but all that was put to the side with this show. And I gotta say, even though I wasn't in love with the show, even though I loved certain aspects of the show, they definitely got the Punisher right. Now I can say that I can get into my negatives with the show. I really wish that Karen wasn't in the show. I do think that she is an unnecessary addition to the show, and I didn't really buy her relationship with her and Frank Castle all that much. Because for me, it just seems weird to see that the Punisher want to be associated with someone else who is a female. And I don't think that's really part of the Punisher's character, if I'm mistaken. But I don't know. That was just me. That was just one of my main problems with the show. And I wish that they would have written out Karen, because I don't think she was a necessary addition to the show. And also, the villains. Now, I'm one of those few people that I don't mind multiple villains. If they are done right, then you can have multiple villains. If they're done poorly, then why have more than one or two villains in a show or comic book movie? But in this, the villains weren't the greatest. They were just very one-dimensional, very just typical bad guys or killers and stuff. I just wasn't really feeling it. There was one who was a terrorist. There was one who worked for the government. I don't really remember. And there was one who is associated with Frank Castle, has a connection with him. I feel like those three villains. I like the terrorist one better because he was actually interesting. But the one who was associated with Frank Castle, I'm just like, no, nah. And I know this is not really a negative or should be a negative, but I am used to seeing Claire Temple and all the other Marvel Netflix shows. So I wish they would have just added her in here instead of Karen, because if they would have added Claire Temple in here, it probably, to me, made the more sense. But since Karen's in here, I guess it makes sense that she is in here instead of Claire, but that's just me. It's just I'm used to seeing Claire in all the other Marvel Netflix shows. And I will admit, the first episode was kind of boring. I was really getting to the point was like, okay, where are they gonna get on with this? Like, when this stuff is gonna like maybe go, yes, I'm hooked onto the show. Cause even though it was the first episode, it was really like, okay. I'm looking at my clock. Okay. When this stuff's gonna happen? But that's until the last couple minutes of the show, which was like, okay, I'm hooked onto the show. Now the show's getting good. I also wish that the show had a different storyline, because even though I didn't hate the storyline, it wasn't really interesting to me all that much, like the FBI stuff. And I wish that the show had a more interesting storyline this season, to be exact. I hope season 2 will be better than season 1, but to me, I wish that the storyline would have been better and the plot would have been better and have more interesting supporting characters, because with the exception of Lieberman, the supporting character was just kind of, I don't know. They weren't like, I never really cared for the supporting characters all that much. Besides Lieberman and Karen, the supporting character was like, I didn't really care about that all that much. But other than that, I do enjoy the Punisher. But it is safe to say that this is probably the best we're ever gonna get when it comes to a adaptation of the Punisher. When it comes to either film or television, this is a good incarnation and probably the best out of the 4 that we have gotten in the past. And I'm satisfied with this, even though that I would have made some improvements with the show. If I would have added some things in that I would have liked to see and removed some things in I did like about the show. But despite all of that, I do think that the first season of The Punisher is a good season. It is a good start to the Punisher series. Hopefully season 2 will be better. If we'll get to season 2, we probably will. But so far, I'm pleased with what I got. I'm going to give season 1 of The Punisher a B+. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and let me know what you think of season 1 of The Punisher in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you are new to my channel and you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.